Well, today is Tuesday. Thank you very much for choosing Pan-African Television. My name is Kwame, Owusu, Danso. This is Good Morning Africa, the newspaper segment here on your #1 station, Pan-African Television. Now, let me quickly say a huge congratulations to the NDC party for organizing such a wonderful, colorful outdooring of Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman as the running mate to the flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama. Yesterday was a very colorful one. Pan-African Television was present there at the event. Justice Appiah represented us there. We also made sure that it was broadcast live here on Pan-African Television. This morning, I just want to remind you that we're here to have a very wonderful conversation, and we're here to ensure that whatever it is that are of great relevance to you, we definitely have a discussion on. Let me quickly take you through the topics before I introduce my panelists for today. Tanzania presidential hopeful returns home after attempt on life. And Hajia, when Hajia was reading the story, said, "Hey, how many bullets? 9. 20 bullets. 20 bullets." It was spraying. Interesting. Public debt hits 258 billion Ghana cedis. Daybreak newspaper reported that particular story. Former President John Dramani Mahama pledges to pay customers of defunct financial institutions. Daily Post presented that story. Ongoing voter registration exercise. EC registers over 12 million in 4 weeks. I've not still registered. I have to go and register so that I can exercise my fundamental right to vote. I have been joined in the studios by Hajia Hamdatu, the acting chairperson of the CPP, and gunning to maintain that particular position within the CPP. She's here seated. Good morning to you, Hajia. Thank you very, very much. How's the campaign going, by the way?
Oh, very well.
Very well. You were up north?
Yes.
For how many days?
For 5 days, but not for the campaign, but because of
WAFA. WAFA. Oh,
Women
okay.
Academy for Africa. And then I took the opportunity to also meet a few people.
Not
region is a region I've taught already.
Oh, you've taught already?
Yes.
I see.
Upper East. I'm yet to go to Upper West.
But the grounds are fertile.
Oh, Jobre Nodi. That's my name.
Fantastic.
Because we can't.
How do you say that in Hausa?
In Hausa, one nigga jishikechi.
Hi, Hausa there is powerful.
Because the issue is that Kwame, whether we like it or not, we're discussing one or two things off air.
True.
You see, we have to reward loyalty and commitment and consistency. And if you look at those coming, I'm not saying that, but some quarter, people will go and sleep 8 years, 4 years. When they come and attempt to be maybe running mate or something, and they go again and then come back. And then we were able to look for resources and make sure constituencies were done, regionals were done, and none of the people who are now showing interest contributed a dime. So that's why I said, Jobre, no di.
I hear you.
Wane gaji. Wane wahala. Shie kamata aba. Won tumkar wumo ma. Won Simpson voted ti.
Magadi so say.
Yamiti manwa bolga tamalege kinta in election boya. So nana wade la kamata ti vote bo. Na menka fante. Enyim de. Ame Hajia Hamdatu.
Inyo.
Ye wo sumya akokota krankwa na be top form. Because from 1992, my sure minim enhwe bebia. Tama part no kwa huhunhie mu no, me gina ho ma CPP. Me make sure say mako region pia aye election. Ama sisinso na ye executive. Ya struggle dama ma ya them regional and constituency elections. Obian be boy. Na sesia ya no eduane no eje to table so ye be wo yan so be say hey em fa won san him me na medi e be ye onye
Gabriela Tete is here reading something on her phone. Gabi, good morning.
Public debt.
I will cancel. You're already public debt on your phone.
I'll cancel.
It's amazing that today she's not actually written anything. Otherwise, I'm sure you would have
torn everything.
Torn everything into pieces.
On my list in the screen, which one is here?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Wafa.
Yeah, Wafa.
This is WAFA, Women's Academy for Africa. You, Gabriela, be active in it. And then this is CPP. The CPP, WAFA is Women Academy for Africa, an organization that is affiliated with the Labour Party of UK, being financed by Westminster Foundation through Labour Party. And we are on this bill with NDC. We are Socialist Party, and they said they are what? Social Democrat. Okay, all right. So we are on that.
But what about MAFA? You guys are discriminating now.
No,
Anyway.
No, we'll discuss it later.
Saka, good morning.
Good morning.
How are we?
I'm good.
Today I can see you are very poised and energized, eh?
Oh yeah, as usual.
You're excited.
Yeah.
4 more for Nana.
Of course, yes.
4 more to do more.
4 more for Nana.
4 more to do. I like that 4 more to do more.
Yeah. Kwame, yesterday we haven't started the topics yet, this
discussion.
But yesterday, you know, when you started, you greeted, you congratulated Nana.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I listened to her. I thought she was reading a poem.
A poem?
Yeah.
Well, that was good.
It didn't look like a political speech.
It means it has
You know, and I think that she still has a lot of mileage to cover.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
But so the yardstick is you have to be political in your speeches. Hadia was not being political right now when she was speaking. She was speaking to
always been.
it.
Hadia has always been.
But she was right now when she was appealing to the rank and file of the
political.
party. No, it wasn't political. It was factual.
Yes.
But why? Are you saying that political is not factual?
Yeah, but you know, political sometimes you can just bring in some things and come and say all sorts of.
No, I'm talking about the language.
And say that if the fundamental is weak, the exchange rate will expose you. Then you win power. Then the fundamentals will further expose you. And then now you will say that the depreciation is in percentages.
Kwame, one thing in life is that, especially in politics and even in an organization, people will go through the ranks. What have you? Political appointment will come and sort of supersede everything.
Absolutely.
You get some people not being happy because maybe they've gone through the ranks.
Yeah.
Likewise, politics. At least you should be a constituency member before a regional. You've been
to go through the mill.
You've gone through the regional.
Like Samioku.
Everybody, even like me.
I was one of the
your obsession for Samuel is becoming something.
When we went with to this great alliance thing with MPP, we were given Owusu Center, only for them to go and bring another candidate there.
What was the man's name?
ICQ.
Mr.
Pratt, the role I played, myself, late Kate and Evelyn. And later on, Evelyn had to move to Talensi to go and help Madam Mary Adokuma, Mary Abagna. You see, all that time, we didn't see these people who are now coming. We want to, you can be in a position, we was a best chairman, general secretary, some position, we will use our.
But general secretary, I have my
that one is your.
As for chairman, I won't challenge, but for general secretary, I have my candidate. I'll announce my candidate later. Anyway, Hadia. Hadia, I love you too. So let's come back and discuss the African story. Tanzania presidential hopeful returns home after attempt on life. Hadia, you exclaimed and you were shivering. I could see literally your limbs shivering. You know, because you couldn't come to terms with the fact that somebody will be fired, in fact sprayed, sporadic spraying and spraying sporadically. 20 bullets in the guy is more than 50 Cent. You know 50 Cent was gunned down, I think 9 times. This guy 20 times and he still survived.
Sam George, how many times was he gunned? He was just dodging the bullet here and there.
No, Sam George has supernatural powers.
Kwame, once again, let me say a very good morning.
Yes.
And then
I don't know why, but today I'm so relaxed for the morning show. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Saka.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say a very good morning to our cherished viewers out there. I said Kwame first.
Okay.
Hey, that's why you are relaxed.
Please.
Then a good morning to our cherished viewers out there, especially the delegates of the Convention People's Party who will be casting their vote to elect their national leadership and the flag bearer on the 15th of August. I'm pleading with you. This is not the time for try and error. Choose a chairman who has been tried and tested, who has gone through the mill. That is Hajia Hamdatu Ibrahim, a.k.a. Ajawan, Ajabakupe. And the woman that we invited for this program in Tamale, in fact, it was so exciting. That's the Wafa women from across the regions. The regional chairman and the executives really welcomed us well in Tamale. Alhaji Mahmoud Ahmed, a.k.a. Mankana Alhaji Koble, and his executive, Mpu Yakapai. Thank you very much for the nice. The women were even say, wow, next time, Ajah, let's go to Tamale. And a very good morning to Ajah, Aisha Futa, the acting, the women's organizer, and she's an aspirant too in this game. And all those contesting. Kwame, you said I was like, because I didn't understand. 20, that he was sprayed with 20 bullets. And he survived. Or maybe there's some, anyway, I don't want to believe in those things anyway. Was he really sprayed with 20 bullets?
Well,
not?
It doesn't say that. It said 20 medical operations, 16 times, right? But was, yeah.
Oh, 16
16
times.
times.
It's the medical operation that is 20.
Yes, yes.
Then I was thinking, I said 20. If maybe the bullets passed through his stomach, maybe some intestines have been cut, how will this person be strong and be a normal human being again? Why should we attack each other or maim or kill each other in the name of politics? I, and for that matter, the Convention People's Party, condemn it in no uncertainty. But you know my fear, the encouragement, the confidence that this guy had to come back to the country that nearly ended his life. I'm amazed. Because to be honest with you, I will see bullets like this and then operated more than 20 times, and then I'll come in. Because one, Robin told his age.
Yeah.
Because if it's 50 or 60 plus, it will even affect his health.
System.
You see, the system, which means the body is not more normal or the way it should have been before. So I think, for me, it is pathetic. It is not the best, even though I know in other jurisdictions like America and other places there are shooting. And I will say a very good morning to Hajam Anatu. I'm not reminding you, her brother was killed in America just some few days ago. Oh. Yes, she's the special aide to the MPP National Women's Organizer. But she's a friend, she's a sister too, Anatu, yeah. So, in Africa, if you think, for me, as I'm sitting here, I want to be national chairperson of the CPP, but I will not insult. I will not allow my supporters to insult or attack anybody just because I want to be the chairperson of the party. Because at the end of the day, it's the same people that you have to work with. So now, if you are trying to eliminate somebody because he wants to be the president of Tanzania, what is the meaning of this? I don't understand. That's why when I was reading the story, you could see the this thing on my face. For me, I don't believe in violence. I don't believe in shortcut to maybe fame or maybe political position. I don't believe in anything that will bring problems in the name of politics. Now he has come back. His supporters were at the airport to welcome him. And they are even complaining about some, they fear maybe some skirmishes will arise because of his presence. Is he not from Tanzania? Why shouldn't he be free to go around doing his politics? So Kwame, you understand why maybe if people are saying Ghana, I said no, nothing will happen, because we coexist. We see each other as one family, even though we disagree because of politics. We won't go to the extent of taking the gun to spray your opponent. If you think you are capable of winning the election, why do you hate your opponent? People who don't have message, they attack. people who don't have message, they try to maybe eliminate their contender. That's how I see it. Because if you have a message and the people understand you, you speak to them, they buy into your idea, they buy into your message, that is all. But if you go to the extent of even name calling, Kwame, if I hear somebody sort of condemning a person, I feel bad, let alone to take a gun and shoot somebody just because he or she is a threat to you. Then you are a coward. You are a weakling. It's sad, you know.
Yeah.
But I wish him that he just have to be careful, because people are also calling for protection and his safety and what have you. I don't know the kind of intelligence gathering he got before deciding to come back. Because if the place is not still safe, why do you risk your life?
Yeah.
Even though I think he has the right to come to Tanzania. But Kwame, hey, if you're going to be at a place where maybe the next time it's not 16 bullets, but ×2, that is 32. Maybe you will not survive.
Yeah.
Because the way they do their things there, it's not like us. Oh. When we finish this television program, I was telling people in Tamale, I said, when we finish Pan Africa, you see us arguing. We are in Kwame's office eating kenke.
Yeah.
And at times, Saka will even like to take the fish and put it in front of Gabriela for her to eat. We are not enemies. We are not. I will never be. Yes, you see, he's been feeding her. You see, I didn't want to just say it direct. You see, we are all one people. But we have taken politics to another level that, in fact, Kwame, it's a bit scary.
It's a bit scary.
It's a bit scary.
Well, Adia is not far from correct.
We wish him well, and then next time when he's going around, he should be looking at his side and then back. And make sure the people that he's moving with are trustworthy.
Yeah.
Because if you are going to be attacked, then most of the weak side is from within. Because I see, be new fear, be free baby.
Thank you very much, Adiam. That well, if you just joined in, you're watching the Newspaper Review segment here on Pan African Television, and we're still discussing the African story. I'm sure you are very much aware of what is transpiring in Tanzania. One of the contenders, yes, please.
Yes, and then I cannot finish this without talking about the lynching of Equia Dente in the Savannah region. It's inhumane. It is not proper. 90 years. And I'm happy they've instituted this investigation to 90 years. 90 years. But you see, we are entertaining this perception that there are witches somewhere, including a witch camp. And even parties go there to take care of the witches, build their system for them. So which means you are really encouraging people to believe that the people are witches.
Yeah.
We should rather insist that they go back to the community that they came from and
Absolutely.
give them protection.
I mean, if yesterday,
And give them protection.
Yeah, yesterday I expressed the same sentiments that
And give them
we're here
protection.
condemning this act, but we are the ones who are encouraging it. You know,
You go. This person has visited the witch camp. They go and build a house for them. No. We have a register. If there are 30 or 40 people, let's make sure they take me to the Potidongo, June 26, my house. They've accused me of being a witch. My brother Alaji Baba is there. His wife is there and the other family. Then they'll bring me back. Then the president or government of the day will say, this house, H. Ibrahim's house, you have accused this woman of being a witch. We have brought her back. Maybe we will be giving her something for her to be comfortable. Nobody should touch her. And then they tell the police command in Upper East, make sure every other day the person is being checked.
but even
It will sanitize something.
my challenge is that
Why?
I mean, these people that you are calling witches and wizards,
They gave birth to you.
Beyond that, you've sent them to. So are they saying that the witches and wizards cannot operate from where they are?
They can operate wherever they want.
Wherever.
I mean,
When they come, that they even aggregate them and concentrate them to do more.
can you imagine?
To strategize, to rewrite their constitution and manifesto.
Sometimes I think that.
for me,
Africa.
we should let them go back and make sure that we say this person's everything is in your hand.
You know, back in the day, these prophets and pastors were praying to cancel the meeting of witches and wizards. Now they're actually allowing them to meet by themselves through the actions and inactions of all these persons who are alleging that their family members or relatives are witches. Anyway,
I think
Gabby, let's hear from you on this subject matter. But let me remind viewers that the WhatsApp number is active 026. We're still discussing Tanzania presidential conference. No, I mean you can end with that, the witchcraft thing.
Well, first of all, I want to say a good morning to our flag bearer and vice presidential candidate, complimenting our flag bearer into election 2020. The NPP has made so much mess about where's your running mate, where's your running mate. Today we finally adored our running mate. God willing, in August we launched the manifesto as well, so we are on course and we're moving forward. I also want to say a good morning to all our viewers. I want to say a good morning to you guys as well. On the Tanzanian issue, this story, should this gentleman win the election, is going to be a very inspiring story. Because here is a gentleman who, in 2017, was attacked. Prior to being attacked, he was persecuted vehemently by the incumbent government. He was charged with incitement 2 weeks before he was shot. He was arrested and charged with incitement. Then in September 2017, as Haja mentioned, he was sprayed with bullets and it affected his limbs, his legs, his stomach, his arms. Had to be flown out to Belgium to undergo treatment and 20 surgical procedures just to get him to recover over this 3-year period. When he arrived at the airport, he mentioned that he's fit as a fiddle, although one of his legs is longer than the other. But it's testament to the struggle of wanting to stand with your people and represent them and want the best for them. And I find his story very inspiring, that despite all this tragedy, he still comes back and wants the best for them. Now, when he returned, at the time of the attack, the incumbent government actually condemned the attack. Promised to investigate it, and up to date, nobody was found guilty or held responsible for this. But it's not new, because if you follow the Tanzania story, although in terms of economic and looking at how far this country has grown over the years, it holds some of the beautiful wonders of Africa, the Serengeti, the Kilimanjaro, very great with tourism. But the challenge of the opposition is that the incumbent government deals too high-handedly with them. Opposition leaders and activists are arrested without justifiable cause, put before the courts and tried, thrown into prison. Some have been killed. There are reports of torture in that country. But there's a certain Tanzania story that the country rather projects to the outside world. A very good story. Now, this gentleman's return, the opposition parties have now decided to file one candidate to contest against President Magufuli in his second term bid for another 5-year presidential term. Should he get the approval of the opposition parties, that only brings him a step closer to seeking what he wants, what he desires for his people. On his return, one of the issues that he's championing greatly, as is the case in many African countries and the rest of the world, is the COVID pandemic, where in his case, Tanzania since May has reported that they have no cases of COVID reports, and they are very much in control of the pandemic. However, the reality is that truck drivers, for example, who ply international trade across their borders, when they cross into other countries, are rather testing positive for COVID. So they are being declared in other countries except in Tanzania itself. Those are one of the things that inspires the opposition to want to take back power because of the trajectory that they believe that Magufuli is sending their country. It speaks of determination, it speaks of bravery, it speaks of a man willing to die for his nation and not giving up. But it also speaks of one of the tragedies of the African story, and that is our inability to tolerate dissenting views and opposition. In countries where opposition elements are treated this badly, it doesn't send the right signal to the international community and to the bigger continent, Africa, that we are all hoping to see a new story of the African rising, where civil unrest and strife and issues of poverty are not the stories, the narratives that we always want to tell the world. We want to tell the world of a continent that is filled with beauty, with diversity, with economic growth, with sustainability, with all kinds of positive narratives. So, as much as I'm excited that a man goes through so much and still stands strong and bold to defend for his cause, I also wish that moving forward, we try to minimize this kind of violence in our body politics within the continent and change the narrative that we sell to the world and push more of the positivity of our stories and not always being on the negative side all the time.
Thank you very much, Gabi. Saka.
Yeah. Kwame, I think, okay, good morning to our cherished viewers. I think the two ladies have already spoken extensively on the matter. But just to add that this Tanzania matter is a cause to worry. Indeed, the comments they made seem to suggest that the government of Tanzania has a hand in the shooting that led to a Tundu what?
Tundu
Lissu exiling at Belgium. But if you look at Tanzania very well, even before Tundu Lissu's shooting, the shooting that resulted in his maiming, there had been terrorism attack all over in Tanzania, to the extent that even at a point in April or so, in 2017, about 30 police officers were gunned down by these gunmen, or known gunmen. They are terrorists. I mean, the U.S. and other agencies actually reported this matter and asked the Tanzanian government to clamp down on them. The Tanzanian government actually also killed, in a counter-attack, also killed about 15 of those people and declared the situation resolved. Little did they know that they were now going to rearm themselves and come and then cause some other mayhem and all that. So for me, I don't want to jump to the conclusion that the Tanzanian government was involved in this, taking into consideration Magufuli and then all the things that he did in Tanzania. I mean, he's one of the few African leaders that has been, that has been accepted as real leaders in terms of fight against corruption, in terms of even the economy and all that. So this human right, extrajudicial repression, so to speak, that people want us to believe, I think that based on the evidence of terrorism in the region, especially the coastal area, the Kwame region and all that, I think that it is as a result of this terrorist group who are bent on destabilizing the country and the region. And for me, I believe that the opposition leader, went through a lot, and that is sometimes the price people pay, the sacrifice people pay, to salvage others. And for me, his time is not yet, due. God is still with him, and that he still has something to contribute to his people. Or despite all the things that he went through, he still has his life intact, and he's back to his homeland and to help build the economy. Yeah. And especially in his absence.
So let me remind you again that the WhatsApp number is active, 0260846539, and we're also streaming live on Facebook, facebook.com/Pan-African Television. We have just dispatched with the African story, so we're coming back home to deal with our own troubles. Now, I'm starting the conversation locally with what has been captured by the Daybreak newspaper, which has to do with our public debt, hitting about 258 billion. That's 258 billion Ghana cedis. And this was according to the Director of General of Bank of Ghana, Addison. Governor, of Bank of Ghana. And we're going to be dealing with this particular issue, especially because that many statements were made prior to the 2016 elections. Many statements have been made after the 2016 elections. And we're still having to deal with issues of debt. Now, I'm going for this quick commercial break. On my return, we're going to be dealing with this, but I'll give you a brief background of our debt issues here in Ghana. So stick and stay. I shall return shortly.
Breakfast a day, every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Breakfast a day, every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Welcome back. Thank you very, very much for staying tuned into Pan-African Television. My name again is Kwame Owusu, and this is the Newspaper Review segment. We try to deal with all the issues here on the show. And like I intimated before the break, we are going to be talking about our public debt hitting about 258 billion Ghana cedis as at 2020. I am going to give you a history, not necessarily a history about our public debt, because it goes way before now. But obviously, you do know that in 2009, we were around 9.5 billion. And in 2016, before the exit of the NDC, we were hovering around 122 billion. Yes, Ghana cedis. Now, this is what informed this particular wonderful maiden State of the Nation address by His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, where he intimated that there is no fiscal space left for borrowing to meet the development aspirations of Ghanaian people, because of the unprecedented high debt stock of the nation. This was around 122 billion. Any attempt to borrow to meet national development needs, the president said, was indeed unsustainable. Delivering his maiden State of the Nation address to Parliament, he announced that Ghana's total debt stock had risen from 9.5 billion in 2009 to 122 billion by the end of 2016, representing 74% of the gross domestic product. He explained that more debt was accumulated by the previous NDC-led government in the last 8 years than all other governments put together since independence, explaining that 92% of the country's total debt stock was incurred during that period. He said the interest costs on these debts had also increased to 14.1 billion in 2017. Now, President Akufo-Addo noted that the state of the country's public finances was quite stark, due to policy choices by the previous government, adding that the country's revenues were consumed by wages and salaries, interest payment on amortization, and statutory payments, thus accounting for 99.6% of government revenues. These are all factual. He said the country's economic growth had declined dramatically to just about 3.6% GDP growth in 2016, in spite of the record financial resources available to the Mahama-led administration. The figure is the lowest in about 23 years recorded in the country's history, he said. Now, President Akufo-Addo said the country's banking sector had become fragile due to non-payment of loans, adding that economic and financial data from the central bank showed that non-performing loans had risen sharply from 11.2% in May 2015 to about 17.3% in December 2016. He said a recent asset quality review of banks, it goes on and on and on. But essentially, what I am... Okay, so let me read this portion before I start with Saka Salia. So if my camera guys can take Saka now. He noted that the high rising public debt, high fiscal deficit, low economic growth, high rate of unemployment, high electricity tariffs, and high non-performing loans, among others, were symptoms of the deeper structural problems that will require a range of reforms to reverse the trend and ensure sustainable economic growth. This is what His Excellency Nana Osiadeyo Adodankwa said when he was delivering his maiden State of the Nation address. Now, what are the key points to be taken from this particular speech? One has to do with the fact that between 2009 and 2016, our debt stock had risen from 9.5 billion Ghana cedis to 122 billion Ghana cedis. And this he explained that more debt was accumulated by the previous government in the last 8 years. And this he explained that owing to the fact that we're seeing an increment in the debt stock, it was needless, to say the least, to attempt to borrow to meet any national development needs. So this was what the President Nana Akufo-Addo said when he assumed the reins of power. Now, we were around 122 billion. Now, according to the governor of the Bank of Ghana, our debt stock is around 280 billion. No, 258, sorry. Thank you very much. 258 billion. So, what am I doing? My mathematics is not good. Osaka, so help me. If you take 122 from 258, what do you get?
136.
You get 136. So now, between 2016 and 2020, in a space of about 4 years, we have borrowed 136 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Ghana cedis. Saka.
Yeah.
If in 2000 and between, so 9.5 billion and 122 billion within from 2009 all the way to 2016, how much, if you calculate, what's the margin? Do you get me?
Yeah.
122, then you take out 9.5. So we borrowed 102.5 billion between 2009 and 2016. How many years is that?
Okay, you should.
No, I'm just asking. I just want to know how many years?
8 years.
8 years. So within a period of 8 years, we borrowed 102.5 billion. So if you divide it by 8, you get about Hey, okay, wait. Oh, my mathematics is not good, so viewers should pardon me. We only wrote to pass exams. Okay, sorry. So if you divide that, Saka, help me.
No, you are holding calculator, so
Because the figures that I'm getting is not, I don't know. But you just divide 102.5 by 8, right? So and then you get half of it will be for 4 years. I'm assuming half of it will be for 4 years, and it should be a sure less than 136 billion. Now, Saka, let me come to you for us to have a very hearty Ghanaian conversation. Given all that the president said, given the trajectory of our debt stock, do you think that your government has performed well enough, barring all the unforeseen circumstances of COVID-19 and all its attendant ramifications and all of its economic implications and things like that, and all of these miscellaneous expenditures and whatnot? Generally, from where you sit, if 122 billion was described by the president as a bad situation for which reason any further investment will cripple the nation, why then do we have to borrow 136 billion Ghana cedis in a space of 4 years? Why?
Yeah, Kwame, thank you very much. I've given you all the time for you to ask your question.
Explain.
Yeah. Thank you. You see, but we are talking about economics.
Yes.
And it will be very simplistic to just take the debt stock and divide it by the number of years and then say that somebody has done better or somebody not done better. In terms of debt accumulation, there are always reasons. And debt accumulation is not in vacuum. First, you talk about the rate of accumulation. Secondly, you talk about the debt to GDP ratio. Indeed, even though we have borrowed 136 within a space of almost 3 years, Ghana is still not debt distressed country. We have not been classified as debt distressed country by the World Bank yet, because the base is so broadened, the economy has expanded, and therefore we have the leeway to borrow as much as the economy can take. You see, if you borrow more than 70% of your GDP, you are dissipating. You are slipping into debt distressed country. You are even going into the HIPC. Indeed, at the time Nana was making this pronouncement or was making this analysis, the debt to GDP ratio was 74%, and that was unsustainable. If you have a situation where the revenue that you generate, or where your debt, is 74% of the whole of your GDP, all the monies accumulated within a year, I think that is worrisome. It's just like you and I. I've always used this thing. For instance, if you, Kwame, and I, and then Dangote go to the bond market or go to the bank to borrow money, and then you decide to borrow 100 million Ghana cedis, Dangote will not go and borrow 100 million Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
Because he will borrow like 20 times what you are going to borrow.
Yes.
Because of his ability to pay. You understand? So it is not, it is because if you look at the economy that was bequeathed the current government, it has expanded exponentially. And once it has expanded, it has opened up and therefore giving way for us to borrow. And for me, I think that 67% after the rebate, 67% of GDP, is still, we still have room to even borrow more. And then there are reasons for some of these things. We talk of interest on loans because at the point we're paying about 14 billion on only interest on the loans that were borrowed by the John Mahama administration alone. If you are sitting down, we are not even borrowing crime. You still have to pay about 14 billion every year on the interest of the old loans that has been borrowed by John Mahama. And then we also know that we have been affected by so many things. Number one, I mean the our revenues are not, performing well. COVID has come. The hospitality industry is not working. Tourism is not working. Remittances are not coming. They almost everything because of the COVID has come almost to a standstill. And it is not peculiar to Ghana. It is peculiar to the whole world. And once this has come, and then you are not generating much internally, the only thing left to do is to borrow. And once you borrowed and you are sure that you are not going to cross the threshold of debt distressed country, I think that we are good to go. And also you remember about the apart from even this debt to GDP ratio and all that, and then the rate of accumulation and all that, we are also talking about the other indices that comes with borrowing. That comes with borrowing, to execute or to prosecute our activities. And I'm saying that if you look at all these indices, we have not thrown them out of the gear. Even though we are not in normal situation, everything, all the indices are being managed and managed well. So I would be very surprised if we want us to go your way of just taking the debt, that was borrowed by MPP, and then dividing it by the number of years, and then take the NDC ones. And you see that would be very simplistic, and it will make sense to their own initiative. It will make sense to some of those people, but this is economic that we are talking about, and in that sense, it doesn't make sense to just simplistic divisions and then multiplication.
I can appreciate what you are saying, but let's read Moody's report.
Yeah, okay.
And if you read Moody's report, it is trying to explain.
When
this was published by my journal, but this was from 20th April 2020. Okay. And it says Ghana's debt to hit 70%. So they were even projecting that it will hit 70% of Ghana. But what is actually very revealing for me has to do with the conversation about total debt stock.
Yes.
And if you read, it says Ghana ended 2019 with a total debt stock of 218 billion Ghana cedis, according to Bank of Ghana's December summary of financial economic data. Then they gave a breakdown of the debt numbers. Then they said that 218 billion at the time, Ghana cedis, total debt stock puts the country
about 7 months ago.
Yes, put the country's debt to GDP ratio at 63.0, right, percent.
Yes.
The same figure projected by IMF. Now, the breakdown of the debt numbers shows that $20.3 billion of the debt were secured from outside the country. This is about 32.5% of the total value of the economy. On the other hand, 105.5 billion Ghana cedis was secured locally. This represents about 30.5% of GDP, right? But this is the most important aspect of the conversation. It says that rate of increase since December 2019. You are saying that I'm being simplistic. Now, they say that the new debt numbers mean that since September 2019, the last time that the Bank of Ghana released the debt numbers, the total debt stock had gone up by some 9.4 billion. And this is exactly what I was trying to do to prove to you. And however, from December 2018 to 2019, the debt stock went up by some 44.1 billion Ghana cedis. Reasons for the hike in debt. The increase in the debt stock from September 2019 can be attributed to the cedi's marginal depreciation and recent funds advanced towards the cleanup of the banking sector. It goes on and on and on. So they are not.
This was 7 months ago.
Granted,
but the current reasons are there.
No, but I'll explain to you.
Yes.
But the current reasons are not divorced from the previous reasons, because those are accumulated debt. The point I'm actually trying to make is that we are looking at the span of government. This government operated for 8 years, and within those 8 years, this is how much they borrowed. This is how much they added onto the public debt. And I'm saying that your government took over in 2016, where the debt stock was around 17. Well, 17, 16, 17.
No, it's 17.
17. When the debt stock at the time was hovering around 122 billion. You have now borrowed in a space of 3.5 years a total of 136 billion. And then I was trying to explain to you that if you do the mathematics and you divide them based on the number of years of performance or borrowing and things like that, you have borrowed more.
But that
and you have nothing to show. No, you are saying that we need to break things down for that.
So you have now jumped to conclusion.
I have not jumped.
You have now jumped to the propaganda conclusion that you have nothing to show.
No, I'm asking. No, sorry. Maybe, okay, so it was not a rhetorical question. It was actually a question to you. Okay, so let me.
So what do you have to show?
Yeah, what do you?
But if you say we have nothing to show,
you have nothing to show. It's for you to accept or disprove.
No, but it's.
So sometimes you ask direct question. If you're a lawyer, you know what I'm talking about. But you have nothing to show.
No, we have a lot to show.
Okay, so what do you have to show?
You see, first of all, I told you that it will be very simplistic for anybody to just go and take the debt.
So Moody was also being simplistic.
What did Moody say?
Moody was explaining to you that how much you have borrowed within the stipulated period of time. And I'm telling you that that's exactly what you need to do. Because if you are telling people how much...
No, Kwame, don't obfuscate the issues.
Moody didn't...
It's not Moody didn't say anything bad. Moody was only explaining the debt. That's all.
What is Moody say? Ajay, listen to me close. If I'm wrong, tell me.
What did Moody say?
Moody is breaking down the debt numbers.
Yes.
But if beyond that, it says that rate of increase since 2019. So they are coming to my argument. Listen. The new debt numbers mean that since September 2019, the last time the Bank of Ghana released the debt numbers, the total stock, which is the debt stock, had gone up by some 9.4 billion.
So what is it?
And I'm telling you, this is the calculation. No, not try to simplify. Don't try to simplify.
But Moody is not saying anything bad. Moody is just telling you that the debt stock are gone up by 9%.
That's exactly the calculation I was giving.
No, you are doing calculation of your Mama regime and another regime. 8 years as against 4 years borrowing. But that is not what Moody did.
But Moody is also giving you how much you have borrowed within a specific period of time. And I'm telling you that within that same period.
Within
the same period. So if for
which same period? Moody is saying that as of September 2019,
you had borrowed
that the last analysis was done. That we have borrowed 9%.
9.4 billion, not 9%.
Okay.
Yes.
No, it's percentage. You check it well. Check it well. Check it well.
9.4 billion Ghana cedis.
Okay. So
however, you see, so they are doing the comparative analysis. However,
they are comparing what and what.
From December 2018 to December 2019, the debt stock went up by some 44.1 billion Ghana cedis. And they explain why the increase. I am not.
So they are not. They are not even talking about the 2018 the Jomama period. All the analysis they are doing is just within the period of the MPP.
I don't know why you're finding it very difficult to appreciate.
No, I understand you.
I'm asking you questions because these are two governments. Am I lying? We voted for the MPP based on certain analysis that they made prior to the 2016 election.
Yes.
Which analysis meant that we overborrowed. In fact, in the president's first State of the Nation address, he was very emphatic and very passionate, as he was eloquent, about how much we have borrowed and for which reason it was going to impair his developmental agenda and that he was going to slow down with borrowing.
Yes.
So they stated that. And now I'm saying that subsequent to that, your government has borrowed within a space of 3.5 years about 136 billion Ghana cedis.
And I told you.
In addition to the 122 that we already owed, bringing the total debt stock to about 200 what?
Yeah, I mean,
right?
250.
And I'm saying that.
Yes.
If you look at the stock, how much we borrowed from 2009, which was about 9.5 billion, to 2016, which was about 122 billion, we had the difference is about 112 billion. 102.5 billion Ghana cedis. And I'm telling you that you have borrowed even more than that 8-year period.
No, but nobody has disputed that.
Yes, that's
no. I mean, this is so simple. Nobody has disputed that 136 and 108. Nobody has said so.
And I'm asking for justification.
No, but I told you, I thought I even justified enough for us to have spared ourselves with all this.
You are talking about COVID-19.
I'm telling you the reasons why we borrowed. The reasons why we borrowed, and it will be excusable anywhere in the world. That you cannot say. That is the reason why when another was speaking, he said that, first of all, you need to save people's lives, and after that, livelihood. You understand? You cannot say that, now interest payment that your mama had accumulated, we won't pay. Definitely we have to pay. But where do we get the money
So
to
you
pay?
borrow to pay debt.
Listen, no, that's not only, we did amortization, we did so many things. We even realigned some of these debts. We ensure that where revenues are not performing, we borrowed to ensure that we take care of all those things. You understand? We couldn't achieve some of the targets. The outcomes, completely was not up to what we intended, and therefore there is something to prosecute. There is an agenda to prosecute, and you cannot then sit down and fold your hands and say that you won't do. But once the debt to GDP ratio is still not reach that threshold that will make it so unsustainable, we still can go and then borrow.
And borrow more.
But under John Dramani Mahama, listen, under John Dramani Mahama regime, that is the reason why I gave you the example of you and I and then Dangote. So if I borrowed more than Dangote, people will talk. They will say, wow, because Dangote has a capacity to pay and therefore can borrow more. And I'm saying that at the time John Dramani Mahama was in power, he was like you and I, but was borrowing like Dangote. You understand? But I'm saying that now, ever since the NPP came to power, we have expanded the economy. The base has expanded. Even under John Dramani, do you know that even the economy was shrinking, in dollar terms? It was shrinking in dollar terms, and therefore did not give room for borrowing. But the story is different now. You understand? So for me, it will be completely out of place for anybody to now take the raw data, the raw figures, and then start dividing, and then start multiplying and dividing,
analysis is
and then
crucial.
without any recourse,
without
any recourse to GDP ratio.
No, it's very. But your GDP is hovering around 7.0. Now the point is that.
It's now hovering around what?
Let me.
No. You said something.
6.3.
No, it's not even. It's 6. It's
not 6.0.
It's 67%.
Hold on.
67% of GDP.
Hold on. Well, yeah, 67. Not 6.
So it's still far lower than John Dramani.
Hold on. You are talking about the fact that you still have Saka. Okay, I'll leave it here. I'll come back to you. Don't worry, I have in my hands the IMF report, and we will do some better comparative analysis.
No problem.
So I'll come here, but don't oversimplify the issues.
You are rather oversimplifying the issues.
Yeah, because sometimes you see, in trying to explain things to people, we need to simplify it, bring it to the level for everybody's understanding. I'm not an economist. You are not an economist. How we understand the issues and how the ordinary Ghanaian would understand the issues, how we need to present it, right?
No. But we don't present it the way you are presenting it.
How are you presenting it?
No,
but Moody is even doing a comparative analysis.
Moody didn't do any. No.
But Moody is telling that between this period, why are you not listening?
No,
between this period and that period, this is how much you borrowed. What is that?
So.
What is that? And it's telling you that between also this period and that period, you borrowed 44 point this. How is that? This is comparative analysis. Telling you that within the first month, you borrowed this.
Moody is not comparing one regime to the other. Moody is comparing year on year.
Yes, but I've decided to compare one regime to the other.
And then the comparison is baseless. Like the Owusu Senyama will say, 4 flats.
Oh, God. Somebody borrows 112.5 in 8 years. You have borrowed 136 billion, and you are saying.
And you were saying something that there is nothing to show for it. Let me tell you, all these developmental projects that are going on, infrastructure. If you go
which
to
infrastructure?
The secondary school infrastructure that we built over 3, all over the secondary schools.
Where?
You don't know?
I don't know. Tell me where.
You don't know?
I don't know.
So it is there.
Where? Mention one place.
Over 300 facilities.
Give me just one.
I'm coming. You see, I'm coming. You wait. I'm saying that over 300.
Rescue me.
Oh, listen. Why? Over 300 secondary schools. We are not saying new secondary schools that we've built. Facilities within the secondary schools. Over 300 facilities. Apart from that, go to Get Fund today. Get Fund is not owing even one contractor. All the John Mama, I'm telling you, any contractor can just call and say that Get Fund is owing him or her.
So you want us to celebrate?
I'm
to celebrate this mediocrity?
No, it is not mediocrity. No, I'm coming. I'm telling you that all the buildings under John Dramani Mahama regime, the school blocks that.
Oh, so they actually built.
Of course. I mean, they started some and they've completed 19 before they went out of power. But I'm saying that. If you take all those, he didn't pay even 1 peso.
Okay.
So all those monies are monies that are being paid through Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo borrowing.
Okay.
Apart from that, look at the planting for food and jobs. All the monies that go. Look at the free SHS. The monies that go in there. Look at SNIT, about 600 million that goes in there. Look at the electricity. It's not for any. It's not by accident that we have eliminated Danso in our lexicon. You understand? Yeah. So we have done well. Look at NABCO. Look at all the development that is going on. And then somebody will come and say that we haven't seen anything. What do you want to see? What do you want to see?
Thank you.
I think that there is justification for this. You go to National Health Insurance and see whether we owe the 1.2 billion that your mama left.
Thank you very much, Sakata.
And apart from that, look at the interest that we pay.
Thank you.
And then the loans, the interest on the loans that your mama borrowed. We borrowed to clear some of those things.
Okay, thank you. Gabi. You've listened to Saka. Charlie, the time is flying and the topics are exciting. I'm so upset. Maybe today the producers will have to spare me small. Gabi, please.
Kwame,
yeah.
According to the reports, our public debt stands at 258 billion. Now, this is 67% of GDP as at June 2020. From December 2019, our public debt stood at 218.2 billion. Which was 62.4% of GDP. Now, it means that in just 6 months alone, it's gone up by 5%. Of this domestic debt, we have 31.7% being domestic, which is 122 billion, and then 35.4% being external, which is 136.3 billion. Now,
no, I don't get the analysis again. Come back.
I'm breaking down the debt.
Break down. Okay, you're breaking down.
The total is 258.
Like I said, it's simplistic. What I did.
No, she's just reading the facts. That's all.
The total amount is 258. Of that 258, 122 is borrowed domestically, which means we took from the financial market to the sale of treasury bills, bonds, etc.
Absolutely.
Then we have an external component, which is 136.3 billion, making 35.4% of the total. Now, in your introduction, you are comparing debt from Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana to Mahama's Ghana, and that was 122 billion. That debt stood at 122 billion. From Mahama's NDC era ended, now starting from the Nana Akufo-Addo's era starting, so June 2020, within this 3-year period, we've added a total of 136 billion, which is an increase.
36.
36.
Yeah, no, we're really following.
Which is an increase of 111.475% over what Mahama over what we have from Kwame Nkrumah era all the way to ending John Mahama.
111 points.
You know how much?
111 point what?
475%.
Your mama go to
It means that we have increased it over 100% in just 3 years. In this period, we know if you look at our growth for Q1, according to Bank of Ghana, we did 4.9% in 2020. Compare that to 7.9% in 2019. Granted that this year, we've had challenges with COVID. But you see, COVID has had an impact on both our revenue sources and over government's overall projections for the country 2020. Now, revenues are declining because our revenue sources, which was taxes on incomes and properties, taxes on goods and services, international trade receipts, have all underperformed. In the mid-year review, according to government, our budget deficit has now been reviewed by 11.4% from the earlier target of 4.7%. Yes, to 11.4% from 4.7%. Thank you. Our revenues and grants receipts has declined to 53.7 billion from 67.1 billion. Our expenditure arrears is now sitting at 97.7 billion from 86 billion. All what this simply means is that the monies that we are expecting to come in is less the monies that we are expecting to go out because of our expenditure. That already sets our economy in a very discomforting situation. Now, if you look at this debt, let's come to back to this debt, because I just wanted to get an overview of the economy in summary. Now, we have 35.4% being externally, our external exposure. This figure here is foreign currency denominated.
Which one?
The external debt.
Yeah.
Because we don't pay those ones in
dollars.
We pay it in dollars or euros or pound sterling.
I mean, if you even read, there were external borrowings and there were domestic borrowings.
Yes, that's what I've broken down. And I'm looking at the external one now. Now, this value here, the 136 billion, is subject to foreign currency fluctuations and the depreciation of the cedi.
Yeah.
So for every time that our cedi underperforms, this value is also changing. This figure here also exposes one thing, that we are heavily exposed to external forces in our debt portfolio. Now we have all kinds of bonds that we've taken from like 10 years ago, sovereign bonds, euro bonds, with our fascination for euro bonds. All these bonds are coming into maturity, all of them foreign denominated, that we have to pay for. Euro bonds are they cedi denominated or they are dollar denominated? All of them now have to be, what the technical expression, serviced and paid for. Kwame, I was doing some quick research there. Do you know that in the 2020 budget, Ghana, we budgeted 19 billion for interest payments alone. On this figure, what's our 2019 ending figure? The 218 billion. For that 218 billion debt, we're looking at 19 billion for interest payments. This
all those other debts.
All those. So it's not on this one.
No, but this is the total debt from Kwame up to date.
Okay.
19 billion, which is even more than our capital expenditure budget. So we're actually spending more for paying for monies we borrowed than how much money we put in investments in capital expenditure in this country.
Or fiscal expenditure?
Capital expenditure.
It's the same thing.
That's the money that we are going to put into CAPEX. That's the money that we are going to put into the schools, the hospitals, the this, the that. So it's not surprising that this government has very little to show in terms of concretizing that expenditure, because they are spending all our money on the interest from the borrowing.
Yeah.
Now, if since you came into office from 2017, you have already done 136 billion. And we are spending, even let's say, since if we take the figure, we divide it into two halves. Let's say from Goma to NDC is 122 billion. Now, Akufado's alone is 136 billion. If we even share this 19 billion between these two halves, that is what? Like 9.5 billion each. What can they do with 9.5 billion? They have no school to show, but even 1 billion could work wonders. They are spending 3 billion. They spend 3 billion on free SHS. The free SHS that they trumpet as their best achievement, they are only putting 3 billion. Next time we have to do a better analysis on free SHS. Now, from 2017 to 2019, this government has spent 13.5 billion for amortization. Just 2 years in office. It tells you the dire situation that this country is in terms of our finances.
Are you able to tell us how much
Now,
you spent on amortization during your?
I have to go back and research into that. But no, because I'm thinking about our current
Now,
situation,
okay.
not 2016.
Okay.
So
Now,
But those are incidental
now,
to the
your
conversation
situation
too.
was
now in 20
this question there is
now
a bit big.
It's unfair.
Yeah, it's
the performance of the economy is based on our own productivity and our output. For us to settle this debt, it means that there has to be some economic activities that are going on within the country to be able to service these debts. Last year, looking at the data, industry underperformed, agric underperformed. These two, I took these two in particular because of one thing. Usually they keep telling us, he told us right now that they've paid all contractors. So government doesn't owe.
I said get fund.
Get Fund has paid all contractors.
Fund.
Do you know that last year there was a contraction in construction to minus 6.9%? In industry, this decline was offset, thankfully, by growth in rather electricity and water and manufacturing. This was prior to COVID. Now, since COVID came this year, you know that we've been supplying electricity at 50%.
Yep.
And we've been supplying water free. This is a debt that government is now going to settle. I don't see how we are going to have any growth in this water and electricity supply now. Manufacturing has declined, which means that we're having a further contraction in industry when our first half data comes.
No,
When I started, I mentioned that.
If the growth is
No, you respond. You respond to
make
it.
it contraction.
Yeah.
It's contraction.
No. You can
Expansion.
you can grow at
It's expansion.
you
When I
can grow.
told you that from 2019
Yeah.
we grew at 4.7.9%, and in Q1 this year it's rather 4.9%.
So you're not contracting.
Saka,
It's still growth.
It's a decline in growth.
Yes. So
It's
that
a
there is growth.
contraction. It is a contraction.
No, it is not contraction.
It is a negative
Contraction is
Hold on.
when there is negative
when it's
growth.
constricted. Hold
Because
on.
it is declining.
No, it's
Or you want me to
contraction is when there is negative growth. But once there is growth,
Hold on.
it is growth.
It is declining.
Yeah.
Aha, you can say
Now,
so.
in agriculture, where they make so
Declining
much
growth.
mess
Hold on.
about planting for food and jobs, agriculture grew by 2.8% as compared to 6.8%. Forestry and logging, they have a whole afforestation program, which is more reason why this figure surprises me. Forestry and logging grew minus 7.1%. Crop production, under which we have the much touted one,
Planting for food and jobs.
Planting for food and jobs, grew only by 2.4%.
It depends on
Now-
the investment made in that
Yeah,
particular
because the
sector.
first year it grew 4.8.
It depends on the investment made.
Yeah. Now, in 2020, under COVID economy, we know very well that even our non-traditional exports has also taken a hit. And these products that go into the non-traditional export basket are from the same bracket as our crop production, because we are doing pineapples, yams, shea butter, shea,
Millet and
cashew,
those things, yeah.
those things. Now, for this 4.9% slide, in June, or was it March? In May, June, no, it was in March, the governor of the Bank of Ghana projected that we are going to record growth of between 2 to 2.5% for this year, looking at the effect of COVID on our finances. At the mid-year budget review, the finance minister reviewed it further downwards to 0.9% growth. For a country that is growing at 0.9% and declining, how do we explain this huge debt that we have accumulated for ourselves over this short period of time? How are we going to find the money to service these debts at a time when everything in the COVID era that government is supplying us is free? Government has to pay for all those services. Their revenue is declining. Their expenditure is up. It makes political sense for them to tout all the freebies that they are giving to the citizenry. But you see, this offset, this imbalance, is rather going to create a gaping hole in our finances that sooner or later we'll be confronted with and we'll have to pay. The stark reality is that Ghana cannot sustain freebies. But as I said, it makes political sense for some people.
So will you fetch or you will not fetch?
It makes political sense for some people, but it's going to come to us at a heavy price.
You go fetch or you not go fetch?
Going into the 2021 election, 2020 election, and into the year 2021, whichever government wins power has a lot to do in trying to get the economy back on track. These freebies, which are additional costs to the taxpayer and to the public purse, will have to be rationalized. Now, as it stands, we are in a pandemic that we've given ourselves a year to finding a vaccine for. Even if we do find a vaccine today, you do agree with me that for all of us to get vaccinated, it's going to take us roughly an additional 2 years to vaccinate a 30 million people population. What strategies are we as a country adopting to limit how much exposure we are to these debts? We say we are borrowing for investment. Investment in what? As it stands, free SHS will have to be reviewed.
Is the topic on the whole analysis of the economy or the debt?
Or the debt. Is VSHS not being financed?
But the debt is born out of the economy.
We have, of all the 3 years they've been in office, simple hospitals, we've only been given a promise that they are going to do 88, which has now been reviewed to 21, but will start in 2021.
Okay.
Schools, they can't even give us one school. So all the money that you have taken,
all right,
136 billion, which is 111% more than what you were left. Saka.
Okay, you took 9.5.
What is it?
And what is the percentage
that you have actually done
with the money?
You said 21 billion went into financial sector cleanup. When you started this financial sector cleanup, you yourself said that the people whose savings are in these banks should not worry. Their deposits are secured. You are transferring that data to the banks that are taking over these institutions. Then you come back and tell us that there's something called depositors' funds that is locked up. How is it locked up? If I have put money in a bank, and you know that I have thousands this in this bank, and you take over this bank, I should go to this bank that has not taken over. My thousands, they should be there.
But who said it's not there?
But that's what the same people who are now saying that you are spending 5 billion. Where did I write that thing? You are spending 5 billion on depositors' locked up funds. You spent 13 billion. I'm just writing this thing.
The monies are there.
3 billion on free SHS. Hold on. 25 billion for financial sector cleanup. Of this, you've only been able to recover 2 billion, which is 5.6% of GDP. How they're serious.
Okay.
19 billion is still unaccounted for.
Unaccounted for what?
The so-called assets that you're trying to retrieve from the financial sector cleanup. And these are from SDIs, savings and deposits institutions, microfinance, the universal banks, etc. So it's a kind of way. Tell us that question because you spent 21
But we need to end here. We need to end here. Thank you very much, David. Thank you, Saka. Hold on.
And this is part of
Hold on. Let me just go for another commercial break. Hadia, just hold on for me a second. I'm going for this quick commercial break. Stay with us. I'll return shortly.
Breakfast your day, every day. Every day. Breakfast your day, every day.
Nestle. Good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Welcome back. Aja, please, let's hear from you.
Yes, you know, Kwame, next year by this time, inshallah,
Then you are
come
chairman
to
of
the
CBN.
same issue of borrowing and then debt accumulation.
That's a fact.
What can we do as a nation so that maybe, let's say 3 years, 4 years, we'd rather be talking about the surplus that we have. How can that be achieved?
Go ahead.
No, it's possible. You understand? When we try to trade amongst ourselves, that's one in Africa. Strengthen our currency. Have one currency across Africa. Get leaders who will not be thinking of themselves, but the entire African continent, and then, for that matter, the forward march of the continent. That, if we're able to do it, we will not be talking about borrowing or who borrowed more than the other. That is why we believe in self-reliance as the Convention People's Party. Look at the number of things that I've listed here that we have as a nation. But still, we don't own this. Our own natural resources, we don't own it. How the even gold is extracted, how the quantity, we don't even know. Flies go directly there and then fly them out. We don't know as if Africa, and for that matter, blacks, we cannot take our own destiny in our own hands. That is where we have the challenge. If we're able to sit down, reason around the table, we'll not be comparing figures. Oh, this one borrowed this, and this one borrowed that. That is not what the common Ghanaian, the ordinary Ghanaian wants to hear. The ordinary Ghanaian wants to know how he or she will put 3 square meals on the table of his children. Security, health, education. But as for borrowing, when you want to win power, you can make all the promises. But when you come and they sit on the chair, then you know that maybe I would have done this or said this in a different way. It's cut across board. Even in our own position, maybe chairman, general secretary, and organizer, people make promises. But Kwame, as I said, our gold, our timber, our oil, our everything is in the hands of foreigners. So how can we be saying that the economy is growing? Fine, it's growing. But to whose interest? To whose this thing? It's the social services. The telecos, the what have you, are not all owned by Ghanaians. So whatever they get, they repatriate it to their country. That's why some time back I like the way Mugabe was behaving. That if you cannot sort of invest what you have gotten into the country, I was on 51%, then just leave it there. Don't do it. It is hard time, Africans, and for that matter, Ghanaians, because it's not because we have more than 61% of the natural resources.
In the world?
In the world. We went to DR Congo from Rwanda. It's just a barrier. If you look at the soil of DR Congo, you'll be surprised. Full of natural resources. If we allow ourselves to be using guns against each other, the guns that we are not manufacturing. So I want to see next year by this time, we'll say, okay, fine, we are not going to borrow. Let's limit our expenditure. Let's see ministers and government saying that for the next 1 year, 2 years, our clothes allowance, our then allowance should be cut. Because that is what is increasing the public debt.
Shaka will not agree.
You understand my point?
No, but those things are talkies. It cannot do anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, the rate at which we need to grow.
Let's allow Haja.
It is not allowing.
Let's go to the advanced world, the advanced democracy.
The red bicycles.
To see whether what we've been giving our people, they do same there. They don't. But we are doing it. Meanwhile, we are rather going to borrow and then come and take good care of ourselves.
Oh.
We should start thinking outside the box.
But they also
because somebody was
US
telling me that, hey, I don't understand why Africa, we should suffer. And for that matter, Ghana. Talking about the planting for food and agriculture, I drove from Tamale to Bogatanga. The rice farms I saw. And I had some visitors who visited me, and they are into rice production. Why are we still importing rice? Why should we import rice? Because we need foreign currency to import all those things. So by all means, it will add to whatever we are doing. It puts pressure on the foreign currency that we need to go and import all this. Because if you are talking economists, we are not all economists anyway. But it's basic economics we all understand. The ordinary woman sitting in Mokwala knows that if she changes dollar today for 4 cedis, and the next time is 4.7, then there's an issue.
Yeah.
That is how the ordinary person will understand. So whatever we are discussing, quoting big figures, we should lower it to the ordinary Ghanaian for the person to understand what we are talking about.
Thank you.
Because if you come and say this isn't the borrowing GDP, then somebody was telling me that, I remember some time back, I don't want to mention the minister, the finance minister, and the one was asked, Aja, why?
Say tekpe.
That why? GDP then, GDP then. Me pese me betu kwanya, me sisa me dollars, me ba, me sisa bioma me nye binkam. That's a understanding. Not to go to China or Dubai and shop, come and sell, then she needs more cedis to buy the dollar. That is the understanding of the ordinary person, and for them, the business person. But I think, unless and until we change the way we do things, a minister, a parliamentarian, chief executives, and what have you, if we have maybe 20 ministers, But I like now they, they've changed all the ministers' houses electricity to prepaid.
Nice.
Which is good.
We are all
in fact, I support it. Because if a Makola woman, somebody selling granite on her head in this hot sun is paying her own electricity, I don't see why a minister's electricity should be taken care of. So I think if we give certain amounts, they're like workers, ministers and MPs, they are workers. So you pay them, they go and look for their own accommodation, pay their bills, so that they will see how the ordinary Ghanaian is feeling. But that is not what is happening. Where we've learned the democracy, the advanced world, the Americans, the British, is that how they are treating their ministers, their MPs, their chief executives and whatever? No! The MPP came and met them. Yes, Saka. But 138 such difference needs some further explanation and clarification so that the ordinary Ghanaian will understand.
But I explained it.
But if you are saying that you borrowed to sort of also pay some on interest that the NDC or the previous administrations also approved, fine. Tell us how it was spent and let's see the edifice. This is what you're talking about, schools expansion and what have you. Where are the facts? The NDC did a green book. So the other day I was asking whether you're going to do a golden or blue book. You understand? If you're not telling your story, who will know what you have done with the money? Nobody. But for me, from where I'm coming from, I don't think when we continue borrowing this way, the economy will ever stand on its feet. I think we have to be moderate in whatever we are doing. We have to try and renegotiate certain contracts that we have done with people, be it in our extractive industry. That is where my problems are. That we can get money. But how many percentage of those extractive industries are under Ghanaian control? Or what percentage do we have or get? It's very, very important. We shouldn't do it business as usual. If an agreement was negotiated under any government and we see as Ghanaians it's not good, at least we should be able to say it. It's not good. We should renegotiate. Because after all, the thing is on our land. If they want, they can fly with their helicopters away. We're still here. They cannot take all those machines. I'm not saying we should cajole them into doing them with sabotage. No. But at least we should be given a good deal. Look at all the towns and villages that we have gold, diamond, and whatever. There's no improvement. There's nothing in those communities to show that maybe they are extracting gold or oil or what have you in that particular area. I'm amazed because we are talking about development, we are talking about people drinking from the same rivers with dogs. And you're sitting here to say, this person took more money than this one. I want to see development in my area, in other jurisdictions. People don't drink with animals in the same river. That is what we are doing now in this country. If we continue this way, then how can that happen? So I think we should try and minimize the politicking and look at the realities on the ground. What can we do to better the people, our people in this country? That is more important.
Thank you very much, Hadia and Datu. Very patriotic, very nationalistic. Thank you. Gabi,
Yes.
you want to say something?
Yes,
My time is up.
I also want to say something.
You know, what Hadia said, it brought my mind to something. I was reading an article earlier this week.
About what?
About all these African countries that had decided that instead of exporting so much gold, they were going to hold it as their reserves, which I find very interesting. Now, Saka was going on about how we have, even though we borrow so much, we still have room to borrow more, and we can borrow more. I want to remind him that last year, the IMF, the World Bank, and the Commission of Economic Commission of Africa all warned Ghana that Ghana is one of 11 countries very close to high debt distress. Now,
that was before the rebase.
No, that was after the rebase. Now, this was 2019, not we didn't rebase in 2017. You know, Hajia made the analogy of the trader who wants to know why their they went to buy, they went to exchange dollar, and they traveled, and they came back, and the value has gone up again. This value here, this 136 billion external component here, is a factor in why our currency depreciates so much. Because unlike the private business people who need 1 million, 3 million, 5 million to go and buy equipment or to order supplies or raw materials to come and do further processing, our government has to pay a principal and an interest. Yeah. And they also need dollars to send to go and pay back these monies. Yeah. And a lot of the depreciation of our currency is actually the fault of our government and the external borrowing component.
Thanks very much, Gabi.
Just a point.
Oh, Saka.
Just a point. No. You see, when Gabi was talking and then he said, oh, we took it from 122 to 158 and all that, and she was calculating the percentage and all that.
258, you mean?
258. She has forgotten that. If you take the 9.5
yeah,
that they took all the way to 122, it's over 1,200 percentage increase.
But in terms of value,
I'm saying that in terms of percentage.
In terms of percentage, but in terms
it is over 1,200 percentage.
But in terms of value, what does it mean?
In terms of it's because even the World Bank, the IMF, all of them came to the conclusion that we had reached the distress level, and therefore because 74% had crossed the threshold. And therefore, we're moving towards
Thank you.
We're already even past it.
Good morning to you, Kwame.
But the 68, we haven't reached anywhere. But you also did rebasing, didn't you? When you were in power. When you were in power. In 2013, they did rebasing.
You guys did rebasing in 2013.
So what's your problem?
No, I think there's nothing wrong with rebasing. Yes, create more fiscal space.
Rebasing is just to give the
actual outlook of
the actual size of the economy.
Absolutely, that's the outlook.
And it creates bigger fiscal space for you to be able to
our
fiscal space will contain a lot of capital.
But we have to use
women see the way women are analyzing things like this. Wow, thumbs up for the women in your studios. Kudos to Hajia. This one is from Akakpo. Good morning to you, Kwame. Good morning to you. Kobe Fijai says, hi, good killed. Oh, see, that's the problem. I don't have time. I'm reading the little messages you are calling. I know there's hope for our beloved country Ghana. If we vote for JDM and Jenana, Ghana will be the next America in Africa.
Look at this.
Good morning to you, KOD. In fact, yesterday was my happiest day. Finally, Professor Nana has spoken to the good people of Ghana. Indeed, she's a woman of virtue. Ghanaian women, wake up, support your own. This is the time. J&J Lagbaja from Accra. Lagbaja. Good morning to you, Pan-African TV. The debt to GDP ratio in 2016 was 57.12, not 74. Yes, because I saw it somewhere. I wanted to bring it to Saka's attention. The 74% is from the MPP headquarters. Currently, our debt stock debt to GDP is 66. It's 66%.
What the guy is saying,
and we are likely to end it 70% by December this year from action inside Danso. This one says the MPP man is now talking about not generating much revenue internally due to COVID-19, and the only way for us to survive is to borrow. How much did they borrow prior to COVID-19? Forgetting they told us that we are sitting on money. I really can't hear Gabi when she speaks. RS from Kanda. Gabi, somebody says
the mic is not strong enough, or I talk too slow.
You have a very soft, sexy voice. Good morning to you, KOD. Tell Saka to stop arguing on the blind side. The MPP said they will not borrow. Why this outrageous and unprecedented borrowing? I am Akuba from Nzima and Yenase. Oh, my people in Nzima are now watching me power since I returned from Elembele. Good morning to you, KOD. It's senseless to collapse financial institutions and sack all employees when actually government could have just changed the management of those institutions. The huge money being used for the financial sector cleanup could have been used judiciously to revive these collapsed financial institutions. This one is from Felix in Sawam. Mahmuda from Bupe says John Mahama can't be a president again because he said he's a dead goat and the president has to be a listening president. I don't understand what the woman is saying. Please, KOD, she may have been making a good presentation from Pastor King. Is it? Hey, and why? What happened to Gabriela's sound? You people, no sabotage here. Good morning to you, KOD, and your panelists, especially my dynamic sister from Owusu. Madam is offering free economic tutorials to Saka. Owusu Senya is indeed blessed. The division of the construction has really affected my people. Dr. Tete and your wife, Dr. Mrs. Tete, you will forever be remembered for not only helping Owusu Senya with infrastructure, but also with brainy and beautiful children. May God keep you in his bosom. Owusu Senya West for Madam Gizi. I am Kwesi from Oda. Hey, Kwesi. she's exhilarated. She's relishing in the moment of the praises. Our public debt now is directly proportional to the accounts of Nana.
You are laughing over certain.
Oh, God, how can the debt be proportionate to Akufo-Addo's account? Hey! Kwame, did I hear Saka saying PFJ? Today, farmers are not getting seeds to buy, and you are saying PFJ. Kwame, recently, Mofa did a survey on the impact of PFJ, and you'll be shocked to know that 90% of respondents said they don't use PFJ inputs because of the cost and conditionalities.
It is not true. It is not true.
The message is, Charlie, good morning, Pan African TV. Man is telling Ghanaians that they can borrow, but the NDC can't borrow. Eh? Oh, 2020.
But there's a reason.
Stephen from... And you think NDC also didn't have a reason?
No, they did not expand the economy.
Good morning to you, Kwame. Please, I enjoy your show at all time, except when I see Saka. Then I begin to lose my appetite. Hey,
then you can go and vomit.
In Pemba, in Kumasi, sent in this one. Good morning to you, Pan African TV, and your guest. The NDC woman is making sense with the submission. Abdul from Tamale sent in this one. Good morning to you, Kwame. The NPP man is not ashamed in terms of talking about borrowing. For Mahama's 8 years, they borrowed to build infrastructure. You can see them for yourselves. But the NPP have borrowed.
Well, how do you see the
okay, but Mia said borrowing is a lazy man's approach. How come today they are borrowing? Zakaria from Ejura sent in. Good morning to you, Kwame. Please, why do you allow Saka to dodge your questions? You don't know Saka. I've known Saka for years and years. When you ask the question, he wants to dodge the question. He will dodge it.
No, but which question have I dodged? I haven't dodged anything.
Good morning to you, Kwame. Saka pa. How can Akufo-Addo borrow Gagantwali to pay John Mahama's photoshopped, non-existent on grounds project? Okay, my time is up. My producers are giving me pressure. Thank you very much, Saka Salia. Thank you very much, Gabi. And thank you, certainly, Hadia Amdat, for your time. We're campaigning for you, Hadia. We're with you. I'm a feminist, so I support women. You know, so I can campaign for Hadia and I can campaign for Professor Jena Nopokwa.
LPG2 has woman.
Yeah, I'm campaigning for Hadia because I know Hadia can win. I'm campaigning for Professor Jane because I know Professor Jane can also win. LPG, I can't campaign for her because she will never win. Even my CPP cry. Look at that. I see you guys. Who is Auntie Maggie?
The LPG, she's part of our women caucus.
Oh no, we are all congratulating them, but the point is that she has. There's no.
She didn't know you know the one who is going to win the 2020.
Oh, she's nowhere. I'm telling you, she's nowhere near power. I'm supporting a woman who has the potency of becoming national chairperson of CPP, so the strongest third opposition party.
No, Pokojima is near power.
Ah, why?
She's far away.
NDC is the biggest alternative to the MPP.
But they are far away. They are far away from winning power.
CPP, so that CPP will fully.
You will not reorganize. You will not be part
of.
But
you will be chairman to reorganize.
Oh, as for reorganization,
so when after Professor Jane comes, you also become the flag bearer of CPP. Then we will support. That's the whole point. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
He has labored, he has suffered to lead his people into the land of freedom. He is the Redeemer and the champion of liberty, of human equality. Let's salute him, fellow Ghanaians, the nation's founder, Sergeant Kwame Nkrumah. May God bless him, Ghana showboy, Africa's great son, Sergeant Dr.